Hello, my name's Tom Walker. Welcome to this podcast, which I'm recording on behalf of the Royal Mersey Yacht Club and the UK North Blind Sailing Association. I'm with Jeanette Scott, who's visually impaired and a very keen sailor. But before we hear from Jeanette, I better give you a phone number, because if you're interested to get involved in VI sailing, the person to contact is David Owen, and his phone number is 07793 543 529. That's 07793 543 529. As I said, with me is Jeanette Scott. Jeanette's visually impaired. We're socially distanced, aren't we, Jeanette?
Yes, we are.
Good, we better make that clear because people get worried about that, understandably. Jeanette, tell me just a little bit about your life. You've had an interesting life, I think.
Maybe it was interesting. I started work as a legal assistant and worked for two high-ranking solicitors' offices in Liverpool.
Let's name them.
The first one was Sir Harry Livermore when I was about 16, 17 then, for a few years. Then I went to work at the university for a short while before I got married. And then as the children got a little bit older, I went back to work and went to work for Rex Macon and Co.
Two well-known names in Liverpool then.
Yes, they were the top lawyers.
I'm tempted to ask you to give away some secrets, but we'd better not. In your late 40s, am I right in saying you started to experience severe sight difficulties?
Early 40s.
Tell me about what happened.
I found that straight lines looked like someone had taken a bite out of them. I had some blinds put up in my flat, and I thought there's something wrong with those blinds. They're all wavy, they should be straight. So that was when I had to go to the hospital to have a checkup, and was told that I had macular degeneration. Up to that time I just had severe short-sightedness.
You weren't able to drive, for example, were you?
Never able to drive. I did try. When I was asked to read the number plate, I couldn't see it, and that was the end of the driving.
So once you were diagnosed as being partially sighted and having macula, you went along to Bradbury Fields, which is a local organisation that provides services and information to blind and partially sighted people. Tell us about what you did at Bradbury Fields.
Yes, I did go there eventually, because as the macula deteriorated, once I was in about 52, I then stopped work, and they were excellent in helping to explain what happens, what they can do for you, and they have a lot of things that they can do for you. And one of them was the sailing. I managed to find out about that by going to the bowling.
Before you tell us about the sailing, tell us about the other activities you got involved with at Bradbury Fields.
It was quite slow me starting to go into the activities. It was quite hard to be doing the social things at that time, as I was more focused on what I could get to see. So being able to get magnifying glasses or anything like that, anything that would help me to read, as I was a passionate reader, and that was the worst thing that could happen. So it was a while before I joined any groups, but the main one was the bowling group, and eventually I joined a yoga group as well, which was good. And the other things were more social events. So I joined the bowling group, and that was where I found out about the sailing from.
You mentioned there that you enjoyed reading. I see you have a video magnifier on the table here. Does that mean that you're able to read in the same way as you were used to be able to reading?
No. I have to put that on extremely high number so that I can see the letters. And you can only really be on it for about 15 minutes before you start to feel a little bit ill.
Moving on to sailing then, you've got quite an interesting story as to how you actually got involved.
During my time at the bowling, there were two VIs that mentioned the tall ships and said I suggested that maybe I should try that. So I did, and it was fabulous. I enjoyed it. Everyone was really good. So that's where I had my first taste of sailing.
You went to Spain, didn't you?
We went to be picked up we had to fly to Spain to get onto the tall ship, and then we travelled around for a week on the tall ship. And unfortunately I got seasick for the first 2 days, but after that I was fine, and it was great. There was even a bar on it, which was quite surprising.
What sort of tasks did you have to do there?
We had to do all the same tasks as everybody else, because there were young people on it who were training, girls and boys, who wanted to maybe go into the Merchant Navy or something like that. So they were there, lots of young people. And we also did the nighttime one, even though we couldn't see. So we were given a timetable so we knew how many, where we were supposed to be at a certain time. And if you were on the nighttime one, you had to go to bed, and then someone would come and wake you up when it was your time to go out and do the nighttime one, even though you couldn't see. So it was quite fun. We had to pull the ropes. We had to do everything that everybody else did, even the cleaning. You also had to do the cleaning. Somebody did the cooking. Also, I think that was taken in turns, but I never got to do the cooking. I think they had people with better vision doing that.
Sounds like quite hard work.
Pulling the ropes was definitely hard. The rest of it was more good fun, I think. But yes, it wasn't easy with the timetable.
Getting up at 3 a.m. and
Yes.
being told to go on duty.
Yes, be prepared.
Hopefully life is slightly easier at the Royal Mersey Yacht Club. What do you do there?
Well, it's very easy once you get going. I mean, you're told everything step by step. You're helped to get on and off. You're helped to be where you need to be. And they're very patient. Everyone is very patient with you. And once you start going, I think you'll keep on going.
And anybody who has concerns over safety?
There's no problem with safety. The boats have got quite high, they're quite high at the sides, these two boats we've got at the minute, so you're not going to fall overboard.
And what about getting on and off the boats?
When you're getting on and off, the guys help you. They're there. Sometimes you have one on each side of you, and they tell you step by step where to put your foot, where to put your hand. They put your hands on, if you need to hold onto a rope to get off, they actually put your hand on the rope. You're not, fiddling around trying to find it. They actually put your hands where you need to be, and they do it all step by step.
What's the atmosphere like on board?
Well, I regard it as quite fun, really. You're just one of the crew. You're not any different from anybody else. You're just one of the crew. And you take your sandwiches with you or whatever, and they're put down out of the way so they don't get wet. But really, you just feel like one of the crew. You don't feel like you're different. And the crew are always very good. They're obviously, you can't see it, but they're obviously keeping an eye on you, just in case. And they're so friendly. All of them, really, all the crew. And we have different crew as well, because we go at different times, obviously. And there's usually, on the boats we've got at the moment, there's 2 VIs. Originally, when we were going to the yacht club in Anglesey, we had there were different types of boats, and there was 3 VIs.
What jobs do you do? Tell me about the work that you do while you're on the yacht.
Mostly you are making sure that you pull the rope so that the sail does move over to the other side, and then try and get the rope into the cleats on the side of the boat. So that's they have cleats on each side, so you attach the rope to that so that it keeps the sail where it's supposed to be.
Do you have to be really fit to do this?
I'm fit anyway, but I don't think you have to be really fit. I think you just have to maybe not have anything wrong with you that would stop you from moving from one side of the boat quite quickly.
What do you get out of sailing? Why do you do it?
I do it because I enjoy it. Apart from one of the things that can get me out, because I live on my own, so getting out is important. But it's just that you meet different people, because when you're on the boat you don't always go with the same people. So and you get to know the people who are regular, so you get to keep up with them and what they're doing. So while you're on the boat, when you're not pulling the sails and you're just relaxing for the time when you can just have a chat with people and including the guys that are running the sailing club, people like Dave Owen, who is absolutely brilliant, you know. But all of them are, so you can just have a chat then and just relax a bit. And then once everything starts again, you're all on the move, and that's exciting. I stopped for a while when my vision deteriorated, and I did sort of pull away from everything. Really wasn't doing much, and I think it was Dave that encouraged me to go back. He was just so easygoing, you know.
And is that the same with all the fully sighted members of the crew?
Yes, they're all very helpful. They're all easygoing. They don't treat you any different from anybody else. They are. I haven't met anybody who hasn't been helpful, who hasn't been nice. You know, they're all lovely.
What's the best experience you've had sailing?
I think the best one was when we went on the regatta.
Tell me about that.
Because you're racing. So most of them are really exciting, but some of them sometimes are more exciting than others, you know, if things go wrong or it pours with rain or something like that.
So how exciting does it get? You better tell me more about this.
It's just the thrill, just the way you feel when you're on it. You're just laughing and, you know, no one's going, oh, it's raining or anything like that. You're just constantly just enjoying it.
And did you win the race?
No, I've been on a couple and we've never won. Mike Scanlon went on one and they won when he was on it.
It's a taking part that counts.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah. You don't really expect to win, I guess, but it's quite fun because as you're racing along, the guys, the crew, they're shouting to the other ones that they can see the other boats, you know, and they're all shouting to each other and saying things and that. It's all good fun.
Good banter.
Oh yes, yeah.
Now we've all just been through the lockdown and the restrictions are being eased. I'm guessing you've missed sailing.
Oh yes, I've missed it a lot, but I can't wait to get back, to be honest. I'm not going to be reluctant to go back. At the moment I'm reluctant to go outside to go on the bus, but I won't be reluctant to go back on the sailing. I can't wait for it to start again.
There'll be blind and partially sighted people listening to this thinking, oh, I'm not sure, should I go, shouldn't I? What would you say to them?
I can only say what I liked people to say to me was to tell them exactly what happens, exactly what it's like. And I would say that I was reluctant, but I didn't want anyone to force me to go, that people would encourage you and just tell you what it's like and ask you to give it a go. Okay,
final question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being brilliant, 1 being not very good, what mark would you give the sailing?
I can't find anything wrong to say. I can't find anything negative, so I think I have to say a 10.
Can't say fairer than that, Jeanette.
No.
That then was the voice of Jeanette Scott, who's a very keen visually impaired sailor, and anybody who's been inspired by what Jeanette has to say can contact David Owen to find out more, and he's on 07793 543 529. That's 07793 543 529.